light and darkness. I am Aurora Crown, and I will be your assistant today. Today, Frosty Coffee and I will be your ultimate guide. Before the guide begins, please sit back, grab a drink, and relax as we take you through this guide as swift as possible.
Today, a lot of great news was released today for the Blue Protocol community. One each and every one of you should be excited about. Early this morning on February 20th, we received a lot of new information, gameplay, and Q&A from the General Director, Production Director, and Development Director of Project Sky Blue. The team began to start the stream at 6 a.m. Eastern with their usual opening and began to talk about a large amount of tweets that were sent to them over their Twitter page. However, that will be discussed in the later half of this video. The dev team began talking about how a lot of the changes made were due to player feedback on each of the classes. So, in this video, we are going to go over those changes. The stream goes on having them to explain what Blue Protocol is. For the players that are new, Blue Protocol is Bandai Namco's Project Sky Blue PC-based online action RPG with stunning visual graphics and all the features of an exciting MMORPG made in Unreal Engine 4. So for now, for the real news, if you haven't already signed up for the closed beta test, it is now available to sign up until March 2nd, 2020. Remember to make one Bandai Namco Japanese Asia account with or without using a VPN for your chance to be chosen in the lottery system of 50,000 plus players. The closed beta test will last for 4 days, 75 hours total, in mid to late March. I personally suggest having a VPN so that they trust you are from Japan and do not cancel your invitation. Bandai Namco is closing down on multiple accounts from the same IP network, so I suggest using either ExitLag, Ethersoft, or What the Fast based on community feedback. Currently, the max level is 35 in-game, or at least from what the devs show us throughout the stream. However, that is subject to change in the future. The team began to show us skill trees and how you can grow your character based on what attribute you allocate your points into. Note that the weapons do not have enhancements, and you can change the skill tree build by simply reassigning your skill points. Keep in mind though, you need a skill reset ticket in order to reassign your skill points. You can get skill tickets by two different ways. One from Blue Protocol Shop, or from the end of the storyline. Drops from enemies out in the field are possible from random items. Tactical skills are unlimited use, active skills. Permanent skills are passive skills. There are only 4 tactical fighting skills for Aegis Fighter as the team shows us on screen, meaning you can pick one skill for each button. Adding on, you can see a shield gauge on screen that can be used to block enemies. If that shield gauge is depleted, then you can no longer block or use shield skills for the time being. Normal attacks are used with left-click mouse button, and because Aegis Fighter is level 35, he can use a 4-hit combo. Second combo uses shield and boost defense, and third combo uses the sword to stab and counterattack as well. Players can hold left-click mouse button instead of spamming clicks, which can be toggled on or off in the options menu. So for the purpose of the demonstration, they had invincible enemies to fight in debug version along with other settings such as no cooldown time. The next feature they displayed was level 1 shield charge, translated blow beat, and based on how you upgrade, there can be many variations on the skill. One of the additions to the changes made in Blue Protocol is more impactful aggressive mob reactions. Now when enemies are provoked, they will have a red dot indicator near their health bar if you as the player hold the aggro for that enemy. Like any MMO, you need to keep up your aggro if you wish to keep it permanently. Continue your combo and actions and you will be fine as an Aegis fighter and to defend alongside each of your party members. Another skill feature is an elemental lightning strike, which will place a status debuff element on the enemy you are attacking. If you increase the effect of your counterattack while they have the debuff, it can become more beneficial to you. However, due to the fact that the team wasn't inside of a dungeon or out in the field with a mob of enemies, they couldn't showcase the feature. Next class is Twin Striker. This class focuses on combos to boost damage. Currently the plan in place for Twin Striker is that if you keep up your combos, you can keep up your damage up. But if you get hit by an enemy, you will lose your uptime on an enemy. Currently the plan in place for Twin Striker is that if you keep your combos up, you can keep your damage up. But if you get hit by an enemy, you will lose your uptime on that enemy. This is also subject to change. Not all skills are being showcased for Twin Striker in the stream this time. Unofficially, there are skills called Rubber Impact, Storm Rush, Brutal Blow, or Crimson Blow, one of which can help recover allies' HP over time. If you keep your damage, you can also keep up your own HP with Lifesteal. If you're in a bind and need an enemy to get off you, you can kick them away as well. Different styles of fighting can be determined by using the up and down arrow keys, also known as your W key or your S key. Up arrow key, doing excessive damage, deals up above 100% damage on the meter by kicking, and down arrow key to apply a fire attribute. Rubber Impact is a high-end damage skill with a ground slamming burn effect that will place an AoE on the ground, not only dealing damage with the initial attack, but debuff any enemies in the AoE of fire as well. Twin Striker also has a charge up attack called 6 times hit. Like all the other classes, you can also cancel at any time as well. Among many players, it was one of the most favorited, so they decided to keep it how it was for the most part since Alpha. Throughout the stream, they happened to complete a challenge log of sorts. Unfortunately, they were not about to show us what challenge logs entail. Blast Archer is revealed next. One big change is the camera movement when firing arrows. While firing arrows, the crosshairs are no longer on top of the character. You can also lock on to targets as well if you're not as good with the aiming. However, they suggest aiming at an enemy's weak spot with auto attacks to deal more damage when holding for 2 long shots to dish out a strong multi-arrow attack. Player also has an option for a 3-hit combo to fire off arrows in a barrage or bomb. Continuing on a buff called Speed Up, which might be able to be applied to all party members, giving a speed boost, followed by showcasing another ability called Sleep Shot, sending them into a deep sleep. This is very useful for sleeping mobs in a dungeon. Stampede Arrow is another ability where they either lock on enemies or spread depending on the situation, also applying a debuff. Dust Force is an AoE that can buff Stampede Arrow. It can boost its damage as well. The last ability on the Blast Archer is a healing ability. You can fire an AoE heal arrow on the ground and anyone within range can receive healing. Moving on to my personal favorite, Spellcaster. The Spellcaster has a high elemental damage using fire, lightning, and ice damage, most of which the abilities connect with charge-up attacks. However, you can still attack enemies, but it won't be as strong if you're not charging up your attacks. The Spellcaster has an EP gauge. While using it, there will be no cooldowns on skills so that you can chain skills together for maximum damage. Just like the Blast Archer, the camera is adjusted and the crosshairs will not be on top of the character. W key is basic attack, S key charges magic. While completing a 2-hit combo, you can stagger enemies while the third combo will place a debuff on mobs and slow them down. Spellcaster can use Charging Fire for 30 EP with a level 3 charge attack. You can easily flip from Elemental using Quick Charge to restore EP and switch to Blizzard for an AoE skills, trapping your enemies. Thundermine is an electric elemental explosion that can be fired upon enemies as well. You can also use a buff that allows you to boost all of your elements, dealing more damage than before. Just like the closed alpha test, we are able to see the meteor effect once again in action. The devs showcased how you can also stack dots on enemies with fire attacks. Speaking of elements, the game has 6 different elements: fire, ice, earth, lightning, light, and poison, all of which have their own buffs and debuffs. Now on to Imagines, which will boost your stats attached to your gear. The players can level up battle and inner Imagines. Weapons also have different tiers of levels too. We will also have a mount Imagines, which we can ride around in the world as well. Speaking of world, the devs decided to show off the new map, and as you explore new places, the clouds covering the map will disappear. Sounds like Final Fantasy XIV to me. To close out the stream, the devs decided to close by discussing the many tweets they received. However, they only decided to cover 25 important ones for the time being. Question 1. Will there be paid features that will affect the game? The devs reply with saying that the paid features will not affect stats, weapons, or progression, just cosmetics. Personally for me, I am absolutely love the idea, and who doesn't want to have aesthetically pleasing costumes to wear while roaming the world? Other features include music, convenience features, and Season Pass will be added as well. Please note that there are multiple tiers of season passes, and this does not have to do with anything DLC, but a premium service, somewhat like a subscription to the game. Includes some Battle Royale content, but has no advantage gameplay-wise since the game is completely free to play. What size can we make our character names, and can they be the same as others? The devs say that we can have 12 characters for our character name, and duplicate names are okay. Personally, I don't like the idea of having the same name as someone else, but that is Project Skyblue's choice. How many character voices can I choose from? You can choose up to 3 character packs. So if you participated in the closed alpha test, there is no difference. However, the team does want to make more, but for now, they want to focus on making cutscenes where the character speaks. Voices can be chosen based on your character appearance and playstyle, so the devs team wishes us to have fun with that. Can you change your appearance? Yes, you may change your appearance, and it will also be a feature, but it is not added yet. The team also plans to make facial pieces and customizable options. How many characters can you make? In the closed beta test, you're allowed 2 characters, since you can already change class. The official amount will be discussed at a later time. What kind of guilds will we have, and features? The closed beta test will not have guilds. However, the team has something planned that acts like guilds, and want to plan a feature discussed around that. So the team asks us for our opinion on that. Moving forward also concerns communication. They want to create a game for both players that are interested in communicating and players that are also not interested in communication. What kind of lifestyle content will we be looking forward to, such as housing, fishing, or casinos? The team describes that they want to make everyone feel connected, not just a standalone feature, so for now, they will be focusing on dungeons and raid content, which is PvE. Is there any auction housing or trading zone? Not now, and they do not want RMT to happen in the game. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of the content that is being asked for the tweets is absolutely ridiculous, so you will be hearing a lot of stupid questions. So if you guys do want to participate and want to ask them some real questions, please ask them some real questions in Japanese over on their Twitter page, please. Will we see PvP? There will be no PvP, but party versus enemy, also known as PvE. The team talks about how there is a big wall between players that don't want a PvP or may not be good enough versus the players that are really interested in it. So they do not want to force anyone into playing PvP. Hearing that actually surprises me, considering they do have an arena in place. So that could be for another use entirely, and it doesn't bother me at all, honestly. Bandai Namco is all about their story-driven games, similarly to Square Enix for Final Fantasy games. So, an anime studio wanting to build a strong story and strong PvE content, I am completely satisfied with. I would take that over any MMO. However, I do wish there was a small portion of PvP, like Capture the Flag or Domination-style game modes. Will the team be adding new classes by the time the game launches? The devs say they are making content takes time, and they are working on it, but they do not know when it will be released. Now here's another stupid question. Is there a lock-on feature? Yes, your middle scroll button. Are there weapons that you can change elements with? To be clear with everyone, you add the element to the weapon. Will background music change depending on the day-night cycle? Yes, 100%. See, some of these questions are really stupid, guys, so please go to their Twitter page. Are classes restricted to clothing? No, clothes can be dyed. It is currently under development. Am I allowed to use a controller? Yes, we plan on implementing Xbox One, DualShock 4, and a Logitech controllers. What is the max resolution the game can handle? Full 1080p HD. The team wants to push the graphical contents on multiple platforms, and they want to work with ultra-wide monitors and televisions to be compatible as well. So with that being said, the team decided to show it off live, how to set up the settings. While also playing, they also thought they would show off a new feature to Blue Protocol, Hud Editing. You are allowed to edit size, shortcut, and fix phrases and stamps quickly to the chat UI. The team also has presets available too. I really do think that they took a bookmark out of Final Fantasy XIV's book with some parts of the game and other well-known MMOs as well. But it makes me that much more excited to see the game to be revealed to us. They also talked about keyboard setup as well to the end of the settings area of the menus. player base noticed botting for the first alpha test. What will be done this time for the closed beta and the launch of the game? The devs say that they will terminate any accounts or accounts linked to botting, especially instances like that happening from the alpha. It is a security issue, but the team will act strictly against anyone that uses third-party programming, allowing them to play the game for you while being AFK. The devs wanted to note that certain programs may come up with an error, but you can use normal programs at the same time, such as a browser. What the team is describing is simply they do not want anyone to hack the game. Now, for the most part, they are mainly talking about the closed beta for the time being, but this also does go for the official launch as well. One of the biggest questions asked is, will there be a benchmark software for us to download and try out? Currently, there is not one. However, the dev team is already making one right now, where you can use character creation and demo the game to see how well it runs on your computer. But it will not be available in time for the closed beta test. So keep in mind, it will be released sometime after the closed beta test is complete. Who made the score and music? The devs are unable to say, considering the game is still in closed beta test phase. They plan on announcing it when the time is right. So for those of you that actually have the app called Line, or for those of you that are very familiar with it through animes or through Japanese culture, the Line app is very common in Japanese culture, and they have a question here asking, will there be stamps and stickers added to Line? The team has not considered this, but they think it would be a great idea if they did. One question asks, can you please define zones and channels for players? Okay, first of all, if you've played any MMO, Korean MMO, you guys will be very familiar with what zones and channels are. It's very obvious. But some of these dumb questions do get asked, so it is going to be looked over. So I'm going to describe it for you guys. A zone is loaded immediately, and there will be no loading screens within a zone. Blue Protocol will have a maximum amount of players per zone and respawn rates so that the servers do not get completely bombed. The next instance is called channels. If you have ever played any MMO, a lot of MMOs like to use channels, especially Korean MMOs like I just mentioned, so that the servers do not take a big lag fest of a hit while rendering all of the content within one single zone. You'll see a lot of this, especially when popular content is released, such as an expansion. Channels are known as duplicate zones or subservers / subzones of the same area. There will be 30 players per zone per channel. Town is also allowed 200 players, so the main town or the main city. Dungeons is 6 maximum, and depending on the restriction of the dungeon, it may vary in the future. If you invite a friend to your party, you can summon them to your channel in order to meet up easily. However, keep in mind, the closed beta test, you will not be allowed to change channels. Balance is being made within channels currently for events and in the future, so please wait patiently on the development process. During dungeons, we will be focusing to use fixed phrases in combat for communication in Blue Protocol. I probably should have added this back where the communication part was, but for everyone listening, it means that you will most likely be using Discord like many other MMOs in order to communicate properly with your squad, guild, or raid group. The devs wanted to announce that this is the second last live stream, so that the next live stream will be the last live stream until the closed beta, or at least until after the fact. So please tweet your questions so that they can answer them for next time. The next topics in the final stream will be new dungeons, new zones, raid bosses, arena, and they repeat, not PvP, time attack dungeon, general fixes, more story content, PvE party play of simply them just playing the game and just not talking or something like that. So they'll be showing us off some gameplay probably before the closed beta and all that jazz. So we had a lot of content to cover today, and I'm happy that each and every one of you stayed along to see it through. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next update and the closed beta test.
Thank you so much for watching the stream today. We hope you join us next time for the next stream. If you haven't, please hit the follow button to receive notifications when Frosty Coffee is live. You can also receive updates when Frosty is live through Twitter at FrostyCoffee1HD. If you would also like to join the Crystal Network, you can type !Discord in chat while Frosty is live, or visit the panels below the stream. Once again, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye!